Dear Che, where have you been, man? I assume you're pretty busy with work as you haven't been on live for like 2 weeks. How's the Evil Empire treating you? Are you and Peter Moore like BFF yet?
Hey, I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. Every day, this life's a holiday. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.
See, I just don't get it. You work at Microsoft now, and yet you don't turn on your 360 anymore at all. I still need to finish unlocking some of those GRA co-op achievements, and unfortunately everybody on my friends list just plays Oblivion these days.
Two weeks ago, everyone was playing GRA.
Yeah.
But now, every time I turn it on, it's nothing but Oblivion, and every message in my inbox on live is, "Oh, have you done this bit yet? I just got to this bit. It's really cool." And it's just like, it's just taken everyone. And I don't like this kind of game normally. I mean, I didn't get into WoW. I don't like the sort of medieval thee and thou nonsense in this kind of thing. And Western RPGs are particularly guilty of it. And, you know, it all gets a bit kind of, But what I liked about this is it does start to sort of diversify culturally, I think, the further you go. I like the imagery with the blades because they're mostly these enormous black guys with like Northern European names and an Asian culture.
Yeah.
Everybody sort of looks the same. They sort of have the same facial like scrunchiness. I don't think it's the prettiest thing, but it doesn't make anything like inferior, so to speak. Like there's no hierarchy of like the races, which is like kind of awesome. But I don't know. I think the faces are all pretty ugly.
Yeah. Bethesda hates beautiful people. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to.
Hello, I don't think we've met. Are you new in town?
But I hate how everyone has like a very human voice. Like the lizard people, maybe it's just, you know, how we've been trained to think, oh, lizard people should have like kind of scaly sounding voices, and orcs should sound all grunty-ish. But when we walk up to like this big green guy and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" It's like, I kind of like that. Okay. Indoors, like when you're in a dungeon or just in a shop or something like that, 360 and PC, you can put them side by side. They'll look identical to me. But the second you get outside, the second you get in that overworld, it's the PC by a mile. I mean, it's not even funny how much better the PC version looks. You're watching like the grass kind of like grow in front of you as you go along. It's completely distracting, and the frame rate's jumping around, and buildings are popping up everywhere, and it's just like, it's almost embarrassing, I think. I mean, it's really hideous to me.
I don't know. I was so blown away by that scene really early on when you step out of the sewer and you go from that. The whole gameplay up until this point has been really dark and really sort of very confined, and you step out and then suddenly the world is there and it's like, ah. You hear things anecdotally about you and other people, but it's only ever anecdotally. So you'll be walking through the city and someone will say, "Oh, it's the hero Kvatch, and isn't he awesome?" And then you go talk to the guy, and then that's when it breaks the sort of suspension of disbelief. It's only the sort of ambient stuff.
In this game, more than other RPGs, you can kind of be a jack of all trades and, you know, like decide that, I'm going to be the mage that's also quite good with swords and at the same time is sneaky and stealthy and like can cast this sort of magic, and I'm a conjurer, and, you know, like whatever. As long as you play that way, you can raise your skills in those levels.
Whoa. Take that. Oh!
I think, especially with magics and spells, it's sort of is the puzzle aspect of the game. It's like the problem solving. Like, okay, I'm in this situation. What do I have, and what magic can I use to like, you know, get the best of it? And it's like it's really fun to me. Just like that little one aspect of it. I was like, oh, I wish I can see in the dark, and I wish I can breathe underwater, and I wish I can like be invisible. I was like, oh wait, I can do all of those.
Every time you start down a path of learning something, it's sort of handing everything to you without giving you a tutorial. It's just giving you enough information that it struck me all the way through that it just sort of respects you.
Yeah.
More than most games.
Mm-hmm.
It's like treats you like an intelligent person that understands how games work without sort of holding you by the hand or making something too difficult.
I was watching my roommate play, and he was just wandering by some like random cave on the side of the road, and there were ogres outside that were guarding the cave, and he was just about he's like a stealthy kind of thief guy, and so he was like sneaking, just about ready to come up and attack one of the ogres when this other random NPC just like walked by and happened to aggro the ogres and got into a battle, and the ogres ended up killing the guy. And so he went up and looted the corpse and checked the guy's name, and then went online and checked like a fact to see where he was. And sure enough, he was like some guy that was supposed to be in some city and give him some quest, but he was on his random AI route through the world and ended up getting killed.
That's so crazy.
People haven't worked out if it's a bug or if it's intentional, but if you go into a store where there's something on a counter, everything's affected by the physics model.
Mm-hmm.
So you can nudge something off a counter that's in front of the store clerk and then keep pushing it to part of the room where he can't see it, and then you can take it.
I mean, the Elder Scrolls series has always had like those weird bugs like that either completely put you over the top for anything you need, or completely gimp you.
Right.
Like for the vampire quest, I ran into this NPC where the reward for completing the quest was 500 gold. I'm like, great, 10 hours work for 500 gold. Thanks a lot. But you keep asking him for that reward, and he'll keep giving it to you.
I can't put any other game in my 360. Like, my son likes watching me play racing games on the 360, and that has been the only time where I've taken Oblivion out, when he's insisting, Daddy, race cars. A game hasn't got me like that, and certainly not one like this for a really long time. I want to play Grow, I just don't have the time.
What's the matter? Getting tired? Ha ha! Ha!
But yeah, Oblivion's the shit, and sad as it may be, there's really little else I'd rather be doing these days. That fact made this past week particularly difficult, because we had to go out to San Jose for GDC. Jane had this clever idea to bring the 360 and a monitor down to the show so we could get our fix while we were away, but unfortunately Mark's Saturn wasn't quite roomy enough for the cameras, the computers, ourselves, and an HD display. Oh well, the convention was awesome anyway. For me, the best part of these things has always been running into my favorite developers. Jane got to talk with Mizuguchi for like 2 hours about his games, his goals, and trance music and stuff. And at one point, Jane and I were walking down the hall and we ran into Fumito Ueda and Keita Takahashi. Jane asked them if they'd like to interview each other, and they agreed, dude.
僕今ちょっと具合悪くてあんまテンションが高くな
Oh,
いんだけど。
okay. 私も。じゃあ短くします。
え
Cheers. Coca-Cola.
僕はそうですね。でも何個かセッション見たんですけど、どれも良かったんですけど、あそこにある何でしたっけ、プレイヤブルのゲーム
Oh yeah.
が良かったですね。
なんか小さいインディペンデント
うん
なゲーム。
やってみます。
ケイタさんのゲームデザインチャレンジは見ましたか？
見てない。
とっても面白かった。
面白かった。
ハートいっぱいあって。
あ、ハート。
ラブの。
後でこっそりその資料だけは見せてもらいます。
カタバリとシャドウと両方ともなんかラブが一番大切なものかもしれない。
ああ、そうですね。
ですか？
シリアスな
ラブ
コミカルな
と軽薄なラブ。
You didn't think about games as art specifically, but I think a lot of people consider some of your games to be art.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I wanted to make it the game. I want to make it entertainment. I love very artistic approach, and I got the inspiration from the art. But I always seriously, I want to make a game. So
今はまだ言えないっていう
まだ言えない。
新しいプロジェクト
そうそう。
そうそう
それなんかヒントをくれましたんだけど、もうちょっとアイディアがあれば。
アイディアその塊と同じでアイディアを言ったらそのゲームのことが全てわかるようなものだからもうちょっと秘密にしておきたいなまあ言いたいんだけど
上田さんもなんか
新しい
なんか悩んでいらっしゃる。
そうですねでもいくつかあるんですけど今はちょっとどれにするかっていうのを考えてるところですね
すごいねいくつも出るタイプなんですか
いや急には出ないけど前から作りたかったのが何個かあるので
俺1個しか出ないんですよ1個出てそれしかなくて
それは1個しか出ないんではなくていっぱい出てるんだけど自分の頭の中でダメ出しして NG にボツにしてるものが膨大にあるんじゃないかなと思うけどアイデアだけはたくさんあるでしょきっとでもそれは面白くねえじゃんっていう
I mean, 99 Nights, it seems like it's sort of a different project for you.
this is a fighting game. This is a war game. So that was the big challenge to me, war game. So
But didn't you say at TGS, I think you said something very interesting. You said this is a war game that I hope will let people think more about peace, right?
yeah, it's not peace, but I said justice.
そなたたちは我らは聖堂騎士団聖堂騎士団聖都バルハーリンの聖堂騎士団かああそうだ頼むバルバザールをバルバザール辺境の防波堤であるバルバザールのことか一体何が
Because you're trying to express the different points of view?
That's right. Yeah, I got a big inspiration from Rashomon, Kurosawa movie. So, yeah, I try to use the difference of the impression of the people. Everybody has a different point of view and a different story. So, but the fighting and the watching the war, one war, and in this game, the big surprise is that you can play the enemy. Yeah, this is a big challenge.
Yeah.
But that was okay. So yeah, so I was so nervous before I make this game.
Why?
In the brain, it must be fun.
Like, what is fun?
Yeah, this is very difficult
It's a hard question.
to say, but it's kind of a sensation in your body or brain, and unexpected and unexpected chemistry by different senses or different emotion. I don't know, I want to know.
上田さんはよくムービートレーラーを見て、そしてそれを自分でカットしてみたい。そしてケイタさんは日本語でどうやって言うんだっけ？忘れちゃった。そのスカルプチャー。
ああ彫刻をやってた塊の場合は本当に単純に思いつきで何も蓄積型じゃない発想なんだけど今作っているやつは結構蓄積型でこうしたいああしたいこうしたいああしたいっていうのが集合してあこれがいいっていうのが
理屈から
理屈っていうか
なんか
願望があったんですよ最初にこういう風なのが作りたいなって
そのためにはどうすればいいかってところで
全部当てはまってあこれいいなっていうだから結構新しい自分の中で新しいかな
Do you play an instrument?
No, at all. Not at all.
Do you make digital music on the computer?
No.
Okay.
I think that's a power. That's a reason. Oh, I'm gonna make the game with the music because I don't play the instruments, but I love music. I think like me, many people in this world, in this world, and I want to make some bridge. But the music and the game, you know.
How do you make them? Yeah, how do you make them combine?
How do I
How?
make?
Yeah.
How? I want to know that.
音楽はね、だってゲームよりも音楽の方が強いと思ってるし、なんだろう、音楽の方がなんだろう、いい意味で分かりやすいっていうか、人に伝わりやすいですよね。でその力をなんかわざとなんだろうな、ゲーム音楽っていうくくりとして制限したくない、いいものはいいんだったらフルパワーでやりたいなっていうところでしかないんですけど。
そうですねいやあんまり音楽は詳しくないのであれですけど、でも確かに音楽の力の方が強いとは言わないけど音楽強いですよね。半分ぐらい演出の半分ぐらいは音楽の力であったりするので、あとは音楽はいいですよね。ミュージシャンには憧れますね。
I think it's the people who love the music. They can play the synthesizer. But most of the people doesn't know about the how can play the synthesizer. So I want to put that kind of experience into the game experience. So very simple game. So that's the reason I the Res is shooter, very classic shooter style.
Yeah.
And the Luminous is a puzzle game. So, yeah, the puzzle game everybody can play.
いや作ってはないですけど、いいなと思いますね。
何がいいかっていうと、すぐ人の前でプレイして自分が何ができるんだっていうのが伝わるのがいい。あと本当に言葉関係ないでしょ。だから音楽とかスポーツっていうのはすごいなと思います。
あとかっこいいですよね。音楽ね、パフォーマンスとしてもかっこいいですよね。
一番かっこいいなんかインストゥルメントは何でしょうか。ギター、
ドラム。
ベースかな。ベース渋い。
一番低いの。
ベースはやりたいですね。まあ弾けないけど。
Yeah, it's like my life work to make an interactive experience between the game, the visual and the sound, music. Yeah, I like to chase the another aspect. Like I'm really interested in emotional something.
音楽のようにゲームも作れたらいいんですけどね、作詞作曲するようなぐらいの期間で作れるとか、そういう風になればいいなと思いますね。その時の自分のテンションだったりとか思いつきだけですぐ形にできるような、どうしても長い期間がかかってしまうと最初の思いついた時のテンションみたいなものがどんどんこう低くなっていってしまうので、できるだけその思いついた瞬間にすぐ形にできるような環境に早くなってほしいなと思いますね。なるかどうかはわからないですけど。
If I have some opportunity to work with the Western developers or European artists, I want to try.
アメリカ、欧米の、ゲームってどうですか？どういうイメージ？
昔は大雑把だなとか派手っていうのがあったけど、今はだんだん日本に近づいてきてるし、日本もアメリカに近づいてきてるような気がしますよね。つまんないってこと区別がなくてなんかあんまり特色がなくなってきちゃってるのかな。いい意味でみんなまとまってきてますよね。すごいよくできてるようになってきてるけど、逆にそこで特色がなかったりとかするような気はするけど、 だからってそれを非難できるわけもなく、
そうですね。ただその僕はあれですね、やっぱり海外のゲームの方が豪華に見えますね、ゴージャスに。日本はなんていうかもう少し料理っていうと薄味な日本食に近い感じの印象で、アメリカのゲームとかヨーロッパのゲームっていうのはもう少しこうなんですかね、味が強いというか、まあ両方食べたくなるんですけどねどっちかが好きってわけじゃないんですけど、
味がちょっと違う。でもとってもありがたいです、本当に。
初めてですよ。
あ、そうですか。今
いやいやそうじゃなくて、こういう形式でやったの。
もっとやりたいんですけど、私は。で、私だけ話すことはつまんないでしょ。
まあでも2人だけで喋ると、あれだよね。
どうして
放送できないというか
どうして
危険な会話になってしまうので。
脱線していきますよね。
どうもありがとう。
ありがとう。
毒舌トークになってしまう。
Do you have one more goal? One goal that you want to accomplish before you are 80?
I want to swim in outer space. It's a really nice music and like this. Oh, yeah, simple trance experience. Yeah, very simple.
Of course, the conference had its highlights as well. Will Wright's stuff is always great. For example,
in fact, I mean, people are always saying, "Oh, come give a talk at our school or this or that about game design." And so I talk about game design and game design. I'm kind of sick of talking about game design, actually. So I thought I would talk about something quite different here today instead. For me, I start a game idea, and usually there's this concept at the beginning, something that sparks an idea. Then I go out and do a lot of research, get really involved in it. Then, of course, kind of the standard modes of, pre-production, production, testing, marketing. It seems to me at GDC that we cover these last 4 sections pretty well, with the topics that are covered at GDC. But I've seen very little stuff kind of done in the very early phases, the research phase of how you start with the very core of an idea, usually one person kind of doing background research and doing the very early formulation of that idea. And that's really my favorite part. That's the part I enjoy the most by far. So, just kind of tinkering around in your lab, doing stuff. So I started thinking about, okay, what can I say about game research? But then, I had this nagging thing where I really still wanted to talk about this other thing, And I thought, well, okay, maybe I'll just do both of them, What should I do first, though? Do I do the game research, Astro? It felt kind of weird to have like half a talk and then another half a talk. So I decided I would actually interleave the two for maximum confusion. So we're going to be going back and forth a bit here. In some sense, one is an example of the other. So starting on the research side. The Japanese have this great term called otaku. How many of you have heard this before? Yeah. It kind of usually refers to a 14-year-old, kind of socially dysfunctional guy who collects little anime dolls. But, I kind of embraced that philosophy, in the early stages. When I get interested in a subject, I just get, obsessed with it. And I'll speak to everybody I can about it and tell them how cool it is. And in some sense, that's my very early stage of prototyping. For every game, you kind of want to start with, why am I doing this? I mean, and when you start getting into game concepts, it's always about, what is obviously fun about this? When I put this on the back of a box, why is somebody going to think, they're going to want to play it? What's the hook for the player? Just to give you an example, when we were doing the space stuff, we thought, okay, suppose we had a UFO and we could go anywhere. What would we want to do? all these worlds the players had created. And then, we kind of dove in, and it depended on every level of the game. We thought on a wild planet, we'd probably want to do the uplift thing, making them smart, or maybe just kind of collect them, like Pokemon. On the tribal, really, it seemed like we wanted them to worship us, maybe make monuments, and be their god. Civilized, maybe play First Contact, adult supervision, or maybe just kind of mess with them and do crop circles, And then the spacefaring, obviously combat, trading, maybe building interstellar federations, but definitely exploration, because at that point the world gets so expansive. But for every level of the game, we would go through and just kind of figure out what are the obvious things that, if I ask somebody in 2 minutes, I describe them the game, what would you want to do in this game? And we'd put those all down on a list. Okay, back to the aliens. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't get a chance to do this last year. I was too busy. But yeah, this is totally off topic, by the way. I mean, this is as off topic as you can get. Okay, back to Drake's equation. Now, clearly all these values are not zero. And in fact, none of those values can be zero. If any of those values were zero, we wouldn't be here. So each one of these values has to be something. If we take fairly pessimistic assumptions and we bump them all up to 0.01, and most of these are fractional, so it's like 1%. And then we just take those numbers and we multiply them times the 100 billion stars in a typical galaxy, times the 100 billion galaxies that we know of, we still end up with a pretty large number of aliens out there, about 100 million in this case. My research conclusions are that, and this is something I do always at the beginning of every project, is I take a lot of time to consider it, and don't get too committed to any one idea too early. And that's what I'm doing in a lot of the reading and the research phase. I cast usually a very wide net over subjects, and a lot of times, like in The Sims, which started as an architectural simulator and led more to behavioral stuff, I'll find myself taking very interesting kind of twists and turns through that research path. And what you really want to know is what 90% of the material is irrelevant to that core idea, because that core idea is going to be shifting around underneath your feet all the time, and you need to kind of understand the region of space it can shift in. I have no problem with this one, but getting totally obsessive about your subject, I find helps a lot. It drives the interest. Whenever you see anything that's relevant to what you're working on, you'll see it more readily on the shelf, or somebody mentions something, or an article. You'll just find yourself absorbing this stuff so readily that it's almost effortless. And then you want to cultivate that onto your team. As you talk to your team about this stuff, and get them interested in it, pretty soon you'll be talking about this stuff over lunch, and you're all really enjoying it and learning from each other. And this kind of, comes to the fact that eventually you're going to become a teacher, not just to the people on your team, but to the people in your game. These deep lessons that you're learning through research are eventually, through several filters, going to end up, kind of at the player. And this is one thing that is probably the most important to me, is the fact that we always have the opportunity to change our players at a very deep level. I mean, to the point where we can influence their future career, for instance. And that's something that we shouldn't take lightly. And it's something that we shouldn't squander. So we should probably make the best use of that whenever we can. So thank you.
Jane even participated in the annual rant panel, and God, she killed it. Thank you. Despite the fact that she hadn't had much time to prepare.
I've had a couple drinks just before this, so what I wanted to talk about was, well, there's a lot of things that are wrong, and I think we all recognize it. Why do we still have sessions in 2006 about attracting women to game development? Like, why is that even an issue now? Hot chicks, exactly. Why don't we have our own Sundance, our Oscars, our award ceremonies? What is the state of games journalism? I don't know. It seems like I read a blog post every day about the state of games journalism, and I'm still no nearer to understanding what that state is. But ultimately, I really love games. And I know you all do too. And I think that what I want to say is every rant should have an action. So in other words, what's the point of us sitting around and talking about what's wrong if we don't actually go and do it? So I have a project for all of you, every single one of you. You think about your number one bitch, like your number one beef with the industry, with your job, with whatever it is, with the way things are handled. And tomorrow, okay, not tomorrow, no, not Saturday, Saturday, do something about it. Do something positive, creative, make something, produce something that means something in the world. Because otherwise, we're just sitting around talking to ourselves forever. So, all right, I think that the drinks are kicking in now.
Hey,
in the bushes.
What's up?
Hey, what's up? What you doing?
I'm just writing a letter to Che. Emails.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, emails?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him.
Me neither. It's been
Ask
a while.
him if he's found any decent Mexican food in Seattle.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm wondering about. So are you ready to get some dinner, speaking of Mexican food?
I am, I guess. Let's, you want coffee or anything? You just gotta run by my place and pick up Kim, and then we'll head out from there if that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. You get a chance to play that Brain Age thing yet? It's way more fun than you'd expect it to be.
I'd like to introduce Bill Trinan from Nintendo of America's localization team, a person who has spent months with the brain age.
Good morning. We do have some fun festivities planned with us today. Mr. Will Wright, ladies and gentlemen.
We have to compete with you.
These guys haven't actually played the game before. So, when I count down to 3, we'll walk up and hit the button. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh. 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 Did you do this?
I think we have now discovered people who are determined to improve their brain age. And of course, that is the secret appeal of this game.
Hey Kim.
Oh, hey Jesse, what's up?
Oh, nothing. Where are Ryan and Jane?
Oh, they're not back yet.
Oh, okay. What are you up to?
Brain age.
What's that?
It's this game that Ryan brought home the other day.
Oh, yeah?
There's all these little games and problems that you play, and you're supposed to do it every day. Like it has brain age check. You're supposed to do that every day. Right now I'm at 42. But I started off about 59, and Ryan actually, when he played a couple of games, he was 70. They give you multiplication, adding, subtracting problems on the left, and on the right is to write big.
The answer?
The answers, and you have to go as fast as you can.
Oh my
So
gosh.
sometimes I'm good at this, sometimes I'm not. I think the key is to kind of look at the one underneath
And
while
sort of
you're
think
doing
ahead.
it. Yeah. There's a reading out loud one,
Okay, that would
which
be
I
better
did
for
once,
me.
and basically it goes on both screens, and you just sit there and you read. And I don't really think they're taking too much in from what you're saying, but basically when you're done, then it will tell you, what age you are,
I see.
how fast you're going. So that's another one.
That's neat. What else?
And then the last time I did it, I only did it once, but it was Charles Dickens. Oh, this is the best. Usually when you start, they have this picture thing. Dragon.
Oh my god, I
hell
totally
yeah.
want to try this.
A dragon. Wow.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I would love to be able to draw a good dragon, but it's kind of getting me angry because I know that it's not going to be as defining feature.
Do you find that the drawing part is more frustrating than the actual?
I love the drawing part,
yeah.
but I like drawing a lot. So I kind of wish they had, maybe at some point they'll come up with another version where there's more drawing.
Can I take a look?
Yeah.
God, what are you supposed to?
Okay, with this one.
Yeah, tell me.
So they have different words, right? But you're not supposed to pay attention to the word. You're just
Okay.
supposed to say the color.
Red. Blue. Red. Yellow. Black. Yellow. Red. Yellow. Do you have to use a robot voice, or is that just what
I
I
am
do?
using my robot voice. Oh, that's not bad. Let's see.
The best brain age you can get on this test is 20 years old.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's pretty good. I'm pretty bad with the word ones.
So it's telling me I have the brain of a 50-year-old.
But see, the more you do, the better you get at it because you're more used to it. So that's the whole point of the game. Yeah. So
But
a
I
lot
would-
of older people are using it to be able to, most people don't do these type of things in a normal day.
Right.
So the more you do it, that's why I'm doing it every day because I
Keeps
want my
you
brain to be 20.
I am bad at these things, and that's probably why I should be playing
Exactly.
this game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I feel accomplished afterwards. I really wish this was around when I was younger. I definitely will recommend this to my grandma.
Do you think it would have helped you? Or do
Oh,
you think
yeah.
you would have just flung it
Oh
across the
yeah,
room?
because it's fun.
It is?
Why don't you borrow it for a couple of days? I'm sure Ryan wouldn't mind.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I say you can take it, so I'm sure it'll be
Cool.
okay with Ryan.
Hey, guys. Hey. How's it going? Pretty good.
We're playing Brain
Oh,
Age.
you guys got a DS Lite and Brain Age.
So that's where that's been.
I'm sorry about that.
How old are you in your brain?
50?
I think
Nice.
you're 44.
Not so good,
That's
right?
44.
44.
Yeah,
Not
you
bad.
did pretty good.
44 is still sexy, you know? 50, not so much.
Maybe in Hollywood.
You guys hungry?
Yeah. Let's go.
We got reservations at the nerdiest restaurant in town.
All right.
Winterland.
Winterland.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
Let's go.
Alright.
You're nerdy enough. Well, dude, I hope all is going well, and dude, you gotta find me on live soon. There's so much we need to be playing. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Ryan.
I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. Every day, this life's a holiday. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.